All right, welcome back to the Entrepreneur Shift the Culture podcast. We are here. Travis isn't here today, Gail isn't here today, but I am joined by two very qualified, educated, smart, innovative entrepreneurs. And they've been here before. Jay is a regular, you all know him. And Kentisha was also on before. She is the founder of Pop Stop. And I did get my case of popsicles. You wouldn't believe I still ain't eat all them yet.
Really?
I still got some of them left.
You are the strangest person. Like when I deliver, I have people. They tell me that people broke into their house to steal.
Man,
their
stop the madness, man.
The stories that I have, but they don't ever last longer than a week. So I'm blown away that you have that much discipline.
I still have them. Yeah, because and
you have Keith right here too, so that's good.
Yes. But she. I have to worry about my daughter, not so much
okay.
her. It's the daughter I gotta worry about. But we ain't here to talk about that today. We are here to discuss education and entrepreneurship. And like where we are in this country when it comes to educating people on entrepreneurship or encouraging them to get into entrepreneurship. Are we heading in that direction? And I just learned something new because my answer is a flat out no. I don't think we are. I think we are manufacturing workers, to be workers in hotels or for the hospitality industry. But I just learned from Kentisha, who is also an educator. You teach at the BTVI, and you just told us that you guys have an entrepreneurship program.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. You teach it. Please let us know about that program.
Okay, so at BTVI, we have a dynamic entrepreneurship program. BTVI is a trade school, so we teach you how to do everything. We teach you how to fix cars. We teach you how to do hair, auto body, welding. We teach you how to do amazing things with your skills in your hands. But what do you do after you leave? You're that closer to being self-empowered and having your own business.
Yeah.
So do you leave and go and work for somebody else's welding shop?
Mm-hmm. Or do you start your own? So BTVI is put in place to whereas you have the tools no matter what you take up, whether you're taking up beauty, anything you take up, IT, we have an entrepreneurship program that can guide you in the direction of being your own boss. We also have another program that works hand in hand. It's called Workforce Prep and also Entrepreneurship. Workforce Prep is kind of designed to get you ready for the job force. We do resumes, we do cover letters, we do job applications, all of those things. But halfway through the class, we start with entrepreneurship.
I like that.
Okay.
And the reason we do that is there was a time in the country, probably now a lot of people are getting jobs, but I can remember 2-3 years ago, you were more likely to start your own business and be successful than to find a job. Jobs were scarce. So you were better off starting something, and you would probably make more money starting your own business than trying to go and find a job because things were that scarce. So now we teach the students that even if you can't find a job, we can still be resourceful and find other things to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
There are so many creative ways and avenues you could look at, and that non-conventional tutoring is on the rise now.
Definitely.
Baking is big.
So I've heard.
Food trucks. I think that's a decent thing. Organized food trucks, because there was this place on Montague. I can't remember the name.
Conky Joe's.
Conky
Yes,
Joe's.
yes.
They're the only ones who had
yes.
tacos for a while, and I love tacos. So they were
They're
the only
amazing.
ones who had 'em.
So whatever your talents are, there's always an avenue to get into it, and it's not as scary as a lot of people make it seem. You just have to have the drive, the initiative, and be willing to start. Make
Right.
some sacrifices.
That willpower.
Right, and that's what I'm curious to know. Like, when did this program start at BTVI? Because like I said, this is the first time I'm even hearing about it. I never knew it existed. So when did this program actually start at BTVI?
I'm not too sure. I came in teaching entrepreneurship and workforce prep, so I think it was a program that must have been started probably more than 3 years ago. I've been there for a while now.
Oh, and you've been there for how long?
Probably about 2 years.
2 years. Okay, how often do you teach?
I teach 3 different classes on 3 different days.
3 different classes, 3 different days. Okay, and how do you enjoy doing it? Like how?
I love it.
And
I
what?
love it.
And the students, what's the typical student you would get in your entrepreneurship class, or is there a typical type, or do you get like a wide variety, a diverse set of students? Like, give us a makeup of your classroom.
My classroom makeup is so diverse. Coming from a small island, you think what diversity could we possess? I have a class that's mixed with IT professionals, administrative assistants, welders, plumbers, auto body, beauty school. We have a complete mixture of students, so you never know what you're going to get. But the reality of things is when attacking education in the Bahamas, we have that student who probably wants to build a skate park versus that student who can't even count to 25. And you have them all in one class. So
you have the full the curve, I guess.
Yes. So you have to understand how to make that person who cannot count that much more creative to match up to the person who's already trying to spend $500,000 in a skate park and trying to find out where he's going to get funding from.
Now there's a negative stigma that's attached to institutions like BTVI, and it's like, oh, that's for people who are not academic. You know what I mean? Not academically inclined. The people that ain't stupid, ain't quote unquote smart. You know what I mean? Do you find yourself running into people with that opinion? And is that the case? And if not, how can you convince people that, you know, that's not the issue? Like, that's not what it is.
One thing I learned is not every animal can climb the tree at the same rate. So I can't expect
some can't even climb.
My point. Some have to fly there or swim there, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we all have different talents, and that's why I like a trade school like BTVI, because it's not based on book smart. Book smart. I just asked my students the other day. I said, "Tell me something. Y'all remember the valedictorian in your school? Tell me where they are now. Pick them out." You know the girl said, "Oh, she worked at McDonald's."
Oh no, she sounded like she was too proud to say that to you. She sounded like she was too proud.
No, but you have other valedictorians who are living very regular lives.
Right.
When we were in school, we were taught if you were the smartest, you would go the furthest.
Right.
Incorrect.
I agree, and we were sold that. Well, I don't want to call it a lie because it's not.
Let's just say dream.
We could say dream, and there's like education is the key, and you know if you go, you get good grades. Like if you got good grades, you're a straight A student, and all of that stuff, you automatically gonna have it made.
You're gonna be prime minister.
Everything just gonna lay out for you, and you're gonna be everything is gonna be peachy. But I think what they say is with the A students end up working for the C students. And that's something I hear said
because the
often.
C students are the innovators. They try and find creative ways to make their lives easier, to get things done, and that's who create business and industry.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree most definitely, and that's what I ain't gonna lie. I hate school, man.
Me too.
Ain't no secret.
I hated school.
I remember one time I got a 1.82.
Why?
I didn't even know what to say, and I can honestly say that. But I happened to go to one of those schools like Queens College. When you graduate, you still have fundamental tools to know how to make sense in life. But I remember having a 1.82, and I remember everybody telling me I was so dumb.
Since you admit that, let me give you a high five. Let me pick up the 1 point students. I ain't gonna lie. And
you was there too?
No. Since you let it out. No, this was in Aquinas, right? And 7th grade. I wasn't taking school seriously. I didn't really care. So I was slacking off big time, and I did get a 1 point something. This is why I wanted, no, this was 8th grade. Sorry, 8th grade. This is why I wanted to move from the school, because I was going to have to repeat if I didn't. So I wanted to change schools. I ended up going to R.M. Bailey, the big tuna can on Robinson Road, where all the gangs was back in the day. All the Sharks and the Dogs and the Kings and all these foolishness, Hoyas and Raiders.
It sounded like you was better off repeating.
Well, actually, no, let me tell you what R.M. do to me. R.M. helped me to focus a little more.
With the gangs?
Of course.
Dynamic, that's good.
I got to focus because I ain't trying to get no fight.
They ganging.
I ain't trying to get gang. They gang banging in this school. I ain't into that, so I got to focus on something else. So I focus on, school a little more, started to get my grades up like 2.7 or something like that. But when I really got my grades up and started making like above 3.5 is when I moved to Freeport, the Grand Bahama. And I had nothing to focus on but school. But not just that, the atmosphere was so much better.
Completely
different. It was peaceful. I didn't have to worry about anything. It was new. The people were a lot friendlier. So the atmosphere kind of changed my approach to school as well. But school was still boring. There was never a time where I say, I want to go to school. Well, I want to go to school because there was one girl I didn't like in school at that time.
I used to like to wear my own clothes or dress up day.
That's the only reason I wanted to go to school. But for school reasons, I didn't like school at all. So I think what the issue is, and this is my opinion, I feel like school is too boring. We're still using these ancient
old
ways
things
of teaching.
In real world time.
Yeah, like we doing these things, like writing on chalkboard and have these, studying the same papers for decades.
Why do we still learn about the ARWACs? Can we replace it with an entrepreneurship class?
Well, I don't want
I don't replace history.
I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind that.
But we learn about the ARWACs every year since kindergarten.
History has
Why
its
still
place,
learn about it in grade 12?
Right?
We could switch it up.
I think history has its place. I think
agree.
we need to diversify history, but like you said, introduce entrepreneurship into the high schools, right? So whereas I think kids would gravitate towards it if it was an option. So make it as one of those optional classes. I know when I was in Bahamas Academy, we had commerce and accounts, and then that was it. And then we, fortunately, clubs like JA, Junior Achievers, and Technical Cadets would come to our schools and have mentorship programs. So,
but what's so amazing is you have to have a certain GPA to get in JA. If
you don't now?
Oh,
really?
Yeah, forever. Since I was in school, I wasn't smart enough to get a
I
JA.
guess I didn't know about that prerequisite.
Oh, you weren't book smart enough.
No, I wasn't book smart enough. By the way, I had 4.0s in college and got scholarships. Let me
college
close
is
that
a
off.
different game.
You know, college is a different game.
Yeah.
But it showed I wasn't really interested in what I had to learn in school. Like I said, from the third grade, we learned about the Arawaks, Lucayans, and Caribs. By time
And
12th grade,
Columbus.
yeah, by all of that is amazing, right? But by time 12th grade, I've already learned it 12 times already.
Right.
I think I know the story very well. Anybody else who lives in this country can tell you all about the Arawaks, but not why Pinland threw the mace out the window.
I did.
What history are we really learning?
I get you. And I usually say that as well. Like, we need to teach more than just the Christopher Columbus and Arawak story. Get into stuff like that.
I want to know the first Bahamian person who started that business on Bay Street. I want to know stuff like that. I want to know where it all came from, the development of business in the Bahamas, all of these things. Not how the cacique sat on a chair to worship.
Hey,
we know about this stuff.
Hey,
I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
Leave
I didn't learn
the
about that one.
cacique chair alone, right?
I ain't learned about that one.
It's called a duho. Sorry, it's called a duho.
But
what was the demigods?
I learned about it for a while.
The demigods, Arawak demigods. I can't remember the name.
Who knows? Point is, we don't use these things in life. But Darren, Novelty is, and boy, look here, I need to see your passport because I'm pretty sure your last name is Novelty is. But Darren Novelty says that program of entrepreneurship has been there
Shameless
for more.
plug, Darren. I seen that. He didn't even know he did that. Shameless plug.
Yeah. Oh, you think so?
It is.
Oh, okay. He found me the J. Anyhow, he said that program of entrepreneurship has been there for more than 15 years. I took that class along with my course there in 2000. So this is someone that went and took the course way back in 2000. So
Wow,
more
way
than
to
15 years. And this is the thing. I never knew about this program. Like, is BTVI doing a well enough job promoting this entrepreneurship course? Because
promoting the school as a whole.
Yes.
And I would say no.
Okay.
I think for too long we have allowed the perception or the stereotype to be that this is a dummy school, this is for where the rejects go, your life is over, so your mommy sending you to go get a trade type of thing, instead of saying, you know what, if the intellectual, the academic aspect isn't for you and you're more hands-on, this is the institution for you. And we need to take that vocational aspect and say, you know what, this is a community college or this is a college. Would we just offer something
Think
different?
a name change is in order?
I think a total rebrand is
Rebranding, name change.
I don't know if
because they offer more than vocational now.
I don't know if it has that view in certain arenas, but I have students in my class that range from a high school graduate to a 64-year-old woman who is trying to learn something else. So I don't think she has that same attitude about the school. And I have the people who I have in my class, they are excelled in their craft. I have a lady now. She works to one of the ministries. I'm sure she told me she's about 5 years away from retirement. She was a secretary her entire time, but she's coming to school to better herself. A lot of them are coming to better themselves. So I think it's basically the arena that you're in, and because we all judge things differently from where we come from.
Right.
So I think that's probably what it is. But the amount of students that I have in my class, I think they're doing a good job and they're very receptive. I have a lot of people who are government employees, and this is what really gets to me. When you have the government employees who come and they tell you, I'm here because I want to better myself. Because not all divisions give you extra money if you get a degree.
Right.
A lot of them say, I'm here to better myself. I have a guy, he said a few years ago I bought a few pieces of property, and every time I got to call a plumber, I got to call a carpenter, I got to call this. He says, so now I'm here learning my trade. I could do everything for myself.
Oh.
Okay. So in certain arenas it works. But what about the fresh out of high school wanting to do something? How do they look at the institution? That's where the rebrand for me comes in, because you attract kids that need to be in that institution and not are ashamed and join the workforce and suffer for 2-3 years before they catch on and say, you know what, I need to do something better.
So it should be looked at as a primary option,
Like
as opposed to something secondary.
Yeah.
If you don't get this or you don't go here or this doesn't happen, then you go here.
Yes.
Okay, I could agree with that. And Gail is asking, Kentisha, in your opinion, are the students open to entrepreneurship and really making it happen? Or do you find the course a cool thing to do? So are they really into it, or do they just think it's like the hot thing now, the cool thing to do?
I think you have a mixture, and I guess like with all classes, you have kids who are really interested in learning, and then you have the ones who are just there because their parents say to be there. But you have the ones who are really, really interested in learning, and then you have the ones who are just there for the grade. This year I had 3 students who came back to my class just because they're starting businesses,
Okay.
and they want to have a refresher, and they say, Miss Ward, I really, really need your help, so I want to be here and I want to be involved. Even though I already passed the class, I want to know what you can give me to help me with my business plans because I'm ready to start my business.
Good.
Oh,
And
that's
then
good.
You have some people who don't even want to do the presentation because this is only for a grade and you're taking it out of control. But what blows me away is people's mindset when it comes to start a business. My class always starts with, how much do you think it takes to start a business? And I ask that same question, and I ask everybody.
Oh, okay. So let's get into that. What mindset do most of your students come into the class with?
It takes $1 million to start a business.
Really?
Bottom line. So if they feel that already,
They defeated themselves.
They've defeated. So tell me how much money it's going to take you on your job. How much time it's going to take you on your job to make $1 million?
For me? Which business we talking about?
Regardless, it's still a little longer, right? It's still a little longer.
I'm a ways away from $1 million gross, but it's going to be an eventuality.
Point being, it's not a sensible concept to have.
No.
That you're going to continue working and working until you get $1 million to start a business.
No.
Right.
I think that's a
yeah.
bad
You're not going to make $1
concept.
million working. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Working a job or something.
You're waiting on the money to make the money. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
So once you ask that and find out where their head is on how much it really takes to start a business, then you can see how you can analyze them.
And
Someone
Navarro,
showing us some figures like
Navarro said 15,000.
50,000.
I
No.
mean,
That's a lot of money.
I think he just joking. I hope he joking. See, and that's my thing. Like people like to. I don't like when people we overgeneralize, and so they come up with these numbers, but it's so many variables. Like, what kind of business are you starting?
Definitely.
What level?
Definitely.
I start my business with a bag of flour, bag of sugar, probably cotton egg, a couple of chocolate chips, probably about $100, maybe $120 or something like that. Under $150.
I started my first photography company, Heaven Does Photography, with a $600 wedding contract and a month advance from my work for about $1,200. I bought me my first camera, and I've never
stopped since.
Never
So
stopped.
exactly, and you know what? Sometimes the worst thing you can have is money.
Oh yeah,
I agree. I've
Because
done
people
so
think they
much
can
better
throw
when I
money.
didn't have $1 in my account.
Because you have to now become resilient. You have to become innovative.
I
You
know
have
how
to
to make it.
bootstrap. You have to make it happen in some way, in some form. But people think that they could just throw money at problems and then it'll solve
Well,
it.
Navarro's saying for the field that he plans to be in, that's pretty much what he has.
Okay, Navarro, what field are you planning to be in? If you don't mind telling us, because I see you say, sorry, this is
We
my
ain't get
plan.
TV idea.
Yeah, we ain't want your idea. We're trying to help you. That's what this program
Definitely.
for. We want to help you because you may be saying 15,000, but it might not be that. We may have some ideas as to how you could start with less.
easy.
You never know because anybody know me. I as a shoestring budget guy.
Yeah, cheap.
I can make it happen
Cheap
for the least
bag.
amount of money
Yeah.
possible.
I'm not cheap. I like to bottle.
Yeah, and I don't
I
call
like
it.
to find
I am
alternative
cheap.
It's just
routes.
logic. It makes sense.
Yeah.
If you can get something for cheaper, the same thing, why pay more?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it just common sense to
Oh,
me.
small restaurant and bar. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah,
that,
I could
that
get with that.
That's
yeah.
something that
Yeah.
requires some capital.
Definitely
Yeah.
some capital.
Definitely
because
some
we need to
money.
do infrastructure and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I definitely understand.
When you ready, Happy Foods 242.
For sure. So Darren again says,
Pop Stop also delivers. Sorry.
that?
I don't want to turn this into dropping plugs.
yeah,
Shameless plug.
because I don't know how much commercial Jay run last week. But anyhow, BTVI is not doing a good job because for a long time it was the second option for people they thought was not gifted. BTVI is the most underrated learning institution in this country.
agree, it's underrated.
With the skills learned there, you are empowered to earn for yourself and do not have to look for a job. You can create one. My first company was started with less than $100.
Amen.
11 years and counting.
Yep.
See that?
Yep.
So it all depends. It all depends on what you want to do, how big you want to start. Because even and who was it? The guy with the 15,000. Navarro. Here's the thing. You could, and it's just an idea. You don't have to do it. You like you say, you may already have your plan. But if you are actually the person making the food, if you open in a restaurant, if you're the actual cook, you could start from home, making deliveries, delivering your food,
Yeah.
start up your Instagram page, promote your food on Instagram, and that could help
And
you
you could grow
generate
into that.
some of the capital for you. And who knows, you may be able to raise that 15,000 yourself. I don't know which way you plan on going about raising the 15,000, but that's just an option, an idea. If you don't have, like connections or people that can lend you that, or banks don't want to lend you
Yeah,
the money.
banks.
The banks aren't going to do it.
Right.
I mean, unless you already have another job where you could back up the funding and all of that. It amazes me when it comes to finding funding in this country when you really want to start something. No matter what you want to start, nobody's...
The Bahamas Development Bank is...
Oh, they don't have any money to lend you. So it doesn't even make sense going there. They don't, just simply don't have it.
But let's go back to your students, because I'm curious to know, like, what do they expect when they come into the classroom? Or do you find out, like, what were they anticipating, or what were they thinking was going to happen in the class?
I have some students who just come and sit down, and they're just there because they have to learn a trade. Their parents send them there, and they have to learn a trade, so they don't expect
They're not
much
doing it
from
for themselves.
They're not doing it for themselves. But you see at the end of the course how their eyes light up. These same 3 students who are back in my class were one of those students who were just there to take a trade. One wants to be a police officer. One wants to be something else. And talking about food truck and other stuff, we'll get back to that with one of these students. They want to be different things, but they was only there for a trade. But by the time the end of the class, they were so blown away. This other one's coming. He wants to do a teeth whitening business. This other one wants to come and wrap cars. He's an auto body person. But just being in the class, it inspired them to think further than where they were at the time.
And see, you brought it out. Because
they weren't able to see it. They couldn't see it.
Exactly. And you know why? It's because we're around so many people that don't believe
Debbie
that you can
Downers.
do. Exactly. Yeah. Those people that every time you tell them what you want to do, oh, that ain't realistic. You can't do that. Why are you wasting your time? Don't do that. And so all you need is that encouragement. And I think that's what's missing in the school system. Because I think courses like what you teach.
Too.
I agree. But like what you're teaching at BTVI, I think to some degree should be in all schools.
We are now, what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to develop a program for high school students. We're starting to work with LW Young and CH Reeves when it comes to entrepreneurship. I want to provide them real life solutions on entrepreneurship. If I could teach you how to sell candy and gum before somebody else teach you how to sell drugs, I think we're on the right road.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're on the right road.
Yes,
so
I
we have
agree.
to start from as young as that and know that if you could sell candy and gum, you could make money. Someone will borrow your pen, $5.
Exactly.
And we just think like that.
$5.
Sorry, this is a pen of Lifeagy. This is a Lifeagy pen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
it's a
see.
Lifeagy pen.
I see what you're saying.
It's wooden and it has gold.
I understand.
$5.
I see the value in that. Do we charge for it?
Not yet, because we just starting our business.
Yeah, so
We
she
gotta
ain't
get
generating
100,000
100,000.
yet.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So I see my boy getting even some more advice under here. Sean Lee Johnson is saying to fund the restaurant idea, you can look at providing catering services, deliver. Okay, that's the same thing essentially what we said. So yeah, this is the forum to get ideas. We're here to help. Angelo Sturp says it is very difficult to find funding for startup. Also, shopping around and sharing your idea to get funding may sometimes result in people stealing your idea.
And
Tell
here's
me
the thing:
about it.
before you start shopping your ideas around, please protect your intellectual.
Can you tell us about going about that here in this country? Because, I mean, it's just like, people tell you could do everything here in the Bahamas, and then you get to the office where you're supposed to do it, and they don't even know what you're talking about.
It all depends on the uniqueness of the idea, right? Certain things need to be patented. If you're dealing with a product, you could patent it abroad with the which college is that? The Congress College.
You could do the, if it's a way, you could do the old man's patent form and send your patent in a registered mail and come back and all the other
Right,
stuff.
so you get
but
your
I mean
patent.
here. I'm really interested in that because in the Bahamas we lack so much creativity. If I start a yellow hair
I know you
business,
don't like this.
No. You can't stop that.
This is a
If
spot for her.
yeah,
She don't like that.
No, because see, I don't understand.
Kentisha
it.
love monopolies.
No, I ain't that I love monopolies. You give a person a chance
Yeah, I know what you mean.
to
The 99
live
cents
what they
breakfast.
created.
And let me tell you something that will upset you. I ain't gonna call no names, but there's a particular car lot on a certain road. They were selling a particular car that is a new car that you plug in, electric cars. So they set up everything. They did all the campaigns to educate people and all of that stuff, and literally right up the street from them, someone opened a car lot selling the same
Same
kind of
electric
cars
cars.
that they've been promoting for years.
Wow.
So I get it. I understand
Yeah.
what you mean. But that's, like Jay said, you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
That's
No.
going to happen.
But it all depends on the uniqueness of the idea. If it's a unique product and service, I would say document yourself. Be careful who you send
Speak
your
to.
information to.
Yes.
And always, there are certain clauses on emails that I like to use with the confidentiality and all this other stuff. So you document who you send your things to, and when there is a breach, you go after them with your legal team.
With being a small entrepreneur, what are the price of legal teams?
It all depends on the law you got.
I'm just curious because
Oh, like, yeah.
It all depends on it
You
all.
have to be
No,
realistic
but
about
I know.
these things.
No, I agree
But
with you.
if
I
you do
get it.
have a case,
I get
if
it.
you do have a case and the application is at a certain dollar amount, there are certain lawyers that will take on your case with the low premium, and will it depend on the strength of your case. Will take it on in civil court and win and take that percentage from the winnings.
yeah.
It all depends on the situation and the uniqueness of the idea. It can't be the 99-cent breakfast. It can't be a bakery. It has to be something so unique
Right.
that no one else could be able to execute it or would have come up with that idea. It can't be. It can't be a common thing.
And Navarro is saying, I don't think we have a patent pending office in the
Yes,
Bahamas.
right downtown.
Is
Her
it
name-
illustration?
Her name is Miss Monroe.
Oh, okay. Sounds like you have some experience with Miss
That's why
Monroe.
I'm trying to figure out what Jay's trying to patent because
No, not
Business.
me. Not me particularly. I knew someone that had to go through
Right.
the U.S. to patent their thing and came back with it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got to be careful, and you not just with those things, but you should always be careful with the information you put out. Be very selective with what you
all
share.
the time.
A lot of
All
people
the time.
talk too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Talk way
And they'll
too
talk
much.
your dream to somebody who could afford your dream faster than you. And I when I was starting my business, I was always mindful of that. And I was like, so what if I go talk to somebody and they go sit down there with their Greek or someone else who could afford this venture faster than I could afford this venture because nobody's helping me. You know, I just got my little popsicle mold and that was it. And that was always a fair. So always guard your intellectual property
Yes.
until you're ready to open and go forth with it. And certain people, you know, you don't have to be scared of because certain people are there to help you get further, and then other people you can see a shark when they're in the water.
Most
I'm a shark.
definitely.
Yeah,
But
you
let,
can see a shark when they're in the water. No, you're not.
but let me get into some deep stuff. With your classroom, what was the most outstanding moment you can recall in your classroom? Like that one event that took place that you just would hold forever, like as the most, I guess, unique or life-changing thing that happened within the 3 years of you teaching this course to these students? Or the most touching moment, just something that comes to head that you just remember that you would never forget.
So much. Ever since I started teaching, I think, and yesterday was a day that was so eye-opening. I was like, I will never criticize another teacher. Ever, ever, ever.
What happened yesterday?
Yesterday I had a student. Last week I had the same student, the same class. He came into class. He's one of those loud students. Yeah, Miss Ward, you know, that kind of way. If I ask a question, he doesn't need to put his hand up. He's already answered it, and it's the wrong answer, but he wants to make sure I hear his answer. Miss Ward, you hear me? You know, and he's that kind of student.
Right.
We have them in every class. So I already said, okay, this is going to be challenging. This is really, really going to be challenging. So I put a question on the board. It was kind of like a math question, and he couldn't get it. He really, really couldn't get it. So I said, okay, I'm going to try and work with him or whatever else. So I said, I'm going to put it in the simplest form. He's taking plumbing. So when we deal with entrepreneurship, we deal with it in the plumbing form. I said, you know those little elbow things you got to get? Let's say they cost $1 each, and you need 25 of them. You go to the store, how much money do you need to take? He was completely lost.
Wow.
He is completely lost.
Whoa.
Completely lost.
And how old is the student?
He's growing. Like, he's not even one of those ones right out of high school. He's someone who came to school like already out in the world and say,
Like
I want to
30-something,
better
maybe
myself.
40.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not like straight out of high school. So this is challenging me now because now there's other students in the class and I can't keep asking him
Just paying attention to
$25.
him. Right.
I mean 25 pipes for $1. How much is it going to be? And I can't keep doing that because it's going to make him look. He's going to feel crazy in front of all the other students. So I said, okay,
Slightly
I'm
embarrassed,
going to
yeah.
leave it until the end of class. And he continued to try and he continued to work on it throughout the whole class. So when he was done, he's like, I still don't understand this with it on the board though. So I say, okay. I say I can sit down and I can help you out, right?
You're magnificent.
So I tell him, I say, okay. I said, let's say you go to the store and you need 5 pipes or 5 elbows.
Mm-hmm.
Your boss send you to the store
Mm-hmm.
and you need 5 elbows.
Mm-hmm.
How much money your boss need to give you
Like how you putting them.
so you could clear out at the cash register?
Right.
He said, all $5.
Wow.
So I say,
So
okay.
you just had to.
No, because he didn't conceptualize him
Right.
doing it himself.
Right.
He knew that he was responsible for bringing back a certain amount of money for his boss.
Mm.
So he had to figure out how much money he was going to spend for his boss.
So you had to just put it in a
That is
term
a
that he
sad-
could understand.
that's a sad
state
It's a
of
sad
affairs.
reality.
No, but it isn't even sad yet. Because
Oh,
I had
wow.
already judged him.
Wow.
Automatically, I already judged him. I said, this boy is
Right.
going to be tough.
Okay.
It's going to be a tough situation. He doesn't look a little rough. And, and I got to teach him how to add and count
Right.
all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So he walks into my class yesterday, late, and he walks straight to my desk. And he says, can I speak to you outside? So I said, okay, no problem. I'm already trying to figure out, I don't know if what he trying to speak to me about.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't tell me he don't have his homework, what this is about. So as soon as I got outside, he said, Miss Ward, I just wanted to, I wanted to come to your class. I can't come to your class. My mother passed yesterday, but here's my homework.
Wow.
My life changed at that moment.
Wow.
I didn't know. I literally sat there
Mm-hmm.
and I was, give me your homework.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go. You never know what challenges people are going through.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
And I learned that was so serious to me yesterday. Last semester, I had a situation. This lady, she lost her son 16 years ago, but on that day, it's a tough day for her.
Mm.
So she came and she made sure the entire class felt that day. That was tough for me too. But yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
it showed me that you could be at home fighting every other angle, and you still have to come to school. You still have to do your
Still have to
business.
perform.
You still have to do your responsibilities. And even though he had all that against him,
Mm-hmm.
you know what he said? I just wanted to make sure you got my homework.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
Could have emailed
And
it.
people-
I didn't even need it. Like,
Mhm.
I really didn't even need it.
Mhm.
He could have kept it. But he was so adamant, and that was so respectful. All of that showed me something about his character.
Mhm.
So if he doesn't know how to count, that's probably because nobody really sat there and tried to show him
Exactly.
how to count, because he
Exactly.
wants to try.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He definitely wants to try. So it shows me a lot. Some people are put in situations where they can't see their way out. They
Mhm.
need people to help them to see their way out.
Mhm.
That's why I love teaching.
And that's awesome. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to follow that. But to be honest, it's like we don't take these things into consideration, and you could have easily like written him off, which
Mhm.
most of society does when they see certain traits
Or
Yeah.
certain
you know what I
actions
mean?
and
Certain-
behaviors.
Yeah, attributes like you say he look rough. That's
Mhm.
That's one bad thing right there.
He's talked to me hard. I just feel scared.
Mhm.
He's be like, Miss Ward. I just be like, oh my God.
But then that's the thing, like that's probably the only way
He knows
how to
communicate.
Yeah.
That's all he's been around.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But we don't ever, in this society, we tend to be very judgmental,
Mhm.
and we don't take certain things into consideration.
agree.
If it ain't us, we're not receptive to other people being different,
Mhm.
and so we don't know what people are going through. Like a lot of students in school, you have no idea
Mhm.
what
The
they have to go
challenges,
home to
man.
when
Yeah.
they leave.
Mhm.
You know, and we just like cast them. Oh, these rude children, these bad children, these disgusting, no good, don't want to learn, good for nothing children. We just write them off right
Yep.
away and
Yep.
don't give them that attention.
You feel like they don't care, so you shouldn't care.
Right.
And they don't care because they don't even know what it's like to care. They shouldn't even have to
No
care
one
at
has
such
ever
a young
cared for
age.
them in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
don't know what that is. They don't know what it is to care.
I agree. That's
The-
why it's so important as an entrepreneur. When I first started my business, I also started a nonprofit that went hand in hand with it.
Mm-hmm.
The nonprofit is called POP, Preparing Our People. I had 4 girls between the ages of 13 and 18 that I work with hand on. They'll come in, they'll cut up my fruits. When I go to an event like the food fest, they're the ones who's working and handing out the pops.
Okay.
You have one girl who's collecting
Really?
the money. So they see the entire process, because growing up in this society, the schools don't teach you how to go and make money or how to
No.
even
No.
how
Hell
to
no.
even care
Hell
for
no.
yourself or encourage
No.
yourself to do better.
They teach you how to
So-
buy geek.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't even teach you how to try pass BJC and BGCSE.
Yeah,
just to
they
pass
don't.
tests.
They don't.
That's all.
And I don't even understand why we still taking some of these archaic exams that
Yeah, I
can't
don't get
push
it.
us forward.
Yeah.
So I took so much BGCSEs to try and do so well and do so better that colleges never accepted. And then I came back with 3 degrees, and they interviewed me and asked me if I have my BGCSEs with me. I said, you mean with all these degrees I have? You still need my
Wow.
BG.
Oh,
And,
yes, in the
Hold
Bahamas.
on,
Yes,
hold on,
yes, yes,
hold on.
yes.
and they
Hold on.
scorned
She is
me.
correct.
Hold on.
She
And
is
they
correct.
scorned me. They said, you don't
Yes.
even know your BGCSE results.
Yep.
I said,
Yep. I don't know why
I took them
BGCSE
so
is
long
on this
ago.
high pedestal in the Bahamas. I
You
don't
have collegiate degrees.
Yes.
Plural.
Yes.
And they asking for BGCSE.
they were upset that I didn't have them, and I didn't understand why.
It's
You'll be
ridiculous.
surprised.
It's ridiculous.
You kidding me?
Yeah, and let me tell you, listen, if I was the type of person that had to get a job, look here, it would have been rough. Because I might have 4 or 5 BGCSE, and that's a couple of C's, couple of D's. I get any B's in it? I can't even remember
Did you
because
get
I don't
any
care.
G's? They have a G on it.
No, I ain't get no G's. No,
No
the,
U's.
the only G was on my paper was when I write my name. No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You had 2 G's.
I wasn't that bad now. I didn't care about school, but I wasn't that bad. But I mean, not to say something wrong with someone to get a G, but the infrastructure and the system of schooling just didn't
work with
take
you.
to it because
Yeah.
I'm rebellious in nature, and I'm a hands-on person. I don't like a bunch of theory, a lot of writing and studying and reading and all of that crap. I like to do stuff with my hands. I like to work. You know what I mean? I like to do stuff. So school never really did it for me. And I know it's a lot of people like that, but we always try to like pigeonhole them. And no, you have to get B's and A's, and this is how you're going to make it in life. And I think we need to change that narrative because we can see that that's clearly not, the case because you talk about the valedictorians who still end up in the same place
all the time.
So clearly that's not working. We need to move forward with, like I say, incorporating these kinds of programs into the regular school system. You shouldn't have to go to BTVI to take up something like this. And I see all the time we need to prepare students for life as opposed to preparing them for examinations, because we don't prepare them for life. We don't teach them about mortgages, we don't teach them about financing, we don't teach them about home budgeting, we don't teach them about
especially for kids that have a lower percent chance of actually going to university to learn these things, so prepare them in high school so they can be ready for the world if they have to go straight into the workforce.
I have a friend, he used to sell gum in school. He used to sell gum and candy. He went, I forgot what primary school he started out, and I always want to invite him to talk and tell his story. He's a lawyer now. He's a corporate lawyer. He used to sell gum and candy. He used to go to government school, and he used to sell gum and candy in a little Halloween pumpkin. And even though gum and candy wasn't allowed, he used to sell his gum and candy.
Trapping.
And he used to make money. He then went to government high school. He then went on, he worked at Atlantis as a space cleaner. He started as a space cleaner, moved to front desk, then decided that he wanted to work in the law firm of Christie and Ingram. He worked in the law firm of Christie and Ingram as a messenger. He worked under them and decided that he wanted to study commercial law. So he continued to work to save up some money to go to the UK. He studied law. And while he was studying law, he was working over there as well, so he could pay for his law degree. He's now one of the top corporate lawyers here in this country, but it all started from selling gum.
There we go.
So you got to start somewhere.
I used to sell cup and ice cream. The old man would buy some ice cream, and we would go buy like the Kool-Aid packets and make the Kool-Aid and put it in the freezer. People in the neighborhood, we were selling cup and things. So I've been selling from I was a child, and I heard a story from entrepreneurs so much. Like even as children, they had some kind of hustle, whether it be selling garbage bags or a paper route or like Gary Vaynerchuk, he's taking people flowers and selling it back to them. Everybody had like some kind of hustle as a child.
Interesting.
As a child.
I mean? Yeah, and I hear these stories, and when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I used to sell things as a child too.
Yep.
Maybe I'm on the right track.
I remember being in high school. I went to QC. It was me and a few girls. We used to hang out, and I had just gotten my driver's license. So you know what that meant? I get to drive everybody around, and everybody wants to be my friend. My first hustle was give me $5 for gas, and I'll drive you where you need to go.
Oh shoot! You was Uber way before Uber.
I know, right?
Uber wasn't even ready.
First Uber.
Uber wasn't even ready. I used to love school games because everybody wanted to go on my car to the school game.
There you go.
And then I realized, well, not my car, it's my mommy's car.
Yeah.
So what we did.
She wanted a percentage.
I don't think she knew about my hustle, but if she knew about my hustle, my mother would have wanted probably 80%.
Well, you smart, don't
and
tell her.
I still had to put gas in the car. But you know the tops of the soda cans?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was in the 9th grade, you know what we did? We took the tops off the soda cans and attached safety pins to them. And you know what we made? We made chain belts. We sold them for $5 each. But let me tell you how we got the tops of the can.
$5?
We was kind of cute.
Young cute kid selling.
And we was in QC. We was in QC where people had the $5 to spend.
Yeah.
But we would stand at the end of the cafeteria line, and every time someone would leave with their soda, we'd say, "Can we have your top, please?" And we'd pull it off.
Smart. Look at that.
And we'd keep all the tops in a jar. And then after that, we had a teacher. Her name was Nikki Bethel. Miss Bethel, if you're watching, this is you. She had a whole thing full of safety pins. I mean, full of paper clips. We'd go in her classroom and make the belts, come back out to that same cafeteria line, $5 belts. You could put it around your uniform skirt because they couldn't tell you can't wear a can belt to school, right? It's cans. So everybody, that was their fashion accessory,
Right.
for their school uniform.
You're
to dress
showing
it
them
up.
to make change to it.
Yeah, we used to make plenty of money.
Well, that's how you do it. But then you'll be done.
I had
Gone.
plenty gas money for my mommy central.
So let me wrap this one up. I love to talk about this topic. We could talk about this all day, but the show only so long, unfortunately. And hold on, let me actually go through a couple more comments because I think a few more people were commenting. Angelo Starb says, I find copycats normally fail and the originators sustain because they have the formula, insight, and the foundation to make it successful.
Agreed.
Some people are inspired and some people just steal from originators, and the thieves don't seem to sustain. I could agree with that. That's why I don't really worry about, copycats. Navarro says, "Oh, news to me. Thank you." What else we got here? Angelo Starb says, our schooling system does not prepare you for real life. And that's what we said. They don't prepare you for life. They just prepare you for examinations. And I think that's what we need to focus on. We need to change that system of just trying to get people to pass examinations. We need to get them prepared for life. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everyone is made to be an entrepreneur.
I agree.
No.
But you still have to know certain things in life that you have to prepare for, because a lot of people sign a lot of these bad contracts, these mortgages and these loans. They're going to get a vacation loan, a back to school loan, all these crazy things without knowing how much they're actually paying with interest and all of
agree.
this. So we don't teach about finances and all of these things. So I think we need to revamp our system to incorporate these things in the regular system. And that's it. We can wrap this one up. Thank you again, Kentisha. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Greg,
you
for
as
having
always. You have filled our light-skinned woman quota for the day. I know, right?
Gail.
Thanks again, Jay. We appreciate you as always. You are here anytime I need you, and I greatly appreciate that, my brother.
Yes, man.
And big up to Travis and Gail that couldn't make it. I don't know about next week. We'll see what happens. But Kentisha, we'll have you back anytime you're available.
Please, I'm about to launch my high school program for high schoolers and entrepreneurship. Whenever I get everything all in line, I'd love to
Tell
come
us
back.
quickly about it. What is it going to be about?
It's going to be about different entrepreneurs making contact with high school students. We want to get high school students in the field of knowing what really is out there. So I want people who are doing coding, website design, blogging, real world technology, trending and heading towards the future. Other people who are in different niches. There's a young lady who does cotton candy, Bahamian flavored cotton candy, stuff like that. I want to inspire them to be creative and inspire them to get going with things that may not take $1 million to start. So
Nice.
different entrepreneurs I want us all to come together. I want to get Shavara Enius from Chickchani Farm. She deals with agriculture. I want you to tell the kids that, hey, if you have a pineapple, you can make this into pineapple jam, pineapple puffs, pineapple juice, pineapple smoothie, pineapple anything. If you get in the agricultural field, you could take this pineapple, then turn this into a fabric, and then you could turn this.
Oh, wow.
You could do all these things with one pineapple.
Okay.
Once we get people in the field like that, they just released the top 10 richest people in the Bahamas.
Oh, they did?
That's a very, very
Who was at the
sketchy.
Really?
Someone Lewis. I
Joe
can't remember.
Lewis, but who was right underneath him?
Brent Simonet.
Underneath that was Sawyers.
Yeah.
Sawyers was a manufacturing company that did all the beans,
They shut down
the
now,
corn.
eh?
They did. Why did they shut down? The
I-
family didn't keep it up.
Wow.
That they made millions off of beans, farming, and agriculture. If we could get the same setup here and we start making our own beans, our own corn, and our own stuff again, Albury's did it too, but Albury's closed down as well. Albury's is champion brand. So if we could start doing that stuff again from local produce, you know how far we could go. Someone who just only making lemonade is making money. If he could split that lemon into 50 different ways, he could make a whole lot more money.
Yeah, I agree. So that's awesome. I'm very interested in that program.
We'd love to have you.
And I'd love to assist in any way I can.
Awesome.
I enjoy doing things like that, and this is what we should do. We need to give back and just try to help the people coming up, because we can't just sit around complaining all day and not take action and do anything about it.
No.
So I'm sure Jay doesn't mind. I can sign Jay up.
Jay, I would love for you to come in and bring a media aspect to it.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship in media, and I'd love Bodine to come too to
Yes.
do entrepreneurship and entertainment, because we feel like once you're on stage, you're already rich. You don't know how hard you have to work behind the scenes.
That's another one of my companies too.
Okay, you don't know how hard you have to work behind the scenes.
Right.
You have Corel Pinder, who's coming out with her new plays and
Playwrights.
stuff like
Bougie.
that. Bougie, bringing out the bougies, right? So how do we attack that from an entrepreneur point of view? Plays make money too. How can we attack it from arts and entertainment and stuff like that?
Okay.
What I want the kids to know is how you really make money from doing this. If I started off with $100 with flour and this and that. When I came back, I had 200. How did I start? How did I make money? So when I go back tomorrow, I have 400.
Awesome. And we can wrap it up with that, people. You know how we end every show. Losers make excuses. Winners make adjustments. We appreciate you for tuning in. As always, every week, please share the video. It don't cost you nothing. Tag your friends, people that if you feel that this was a good conversation and someone could benefit, just please tag all your friends, share it to all their pages. Spam them.
Yeah, spam them, please.
You all spam them with all kind of other foolishness, so spam them with some good, valuable information. Thanks again, and until next week. Later.